So today is day 3 of the Karen retrial, and they finished the cross-examination of the paramedic, Daniel Whitley. So Yannetti was doing the cross, and it got a little heated today. The paramedic was not answering questions that should have just been yes or no questions. He was like, well, did you say this at the in front of the grand jury when you were in front of them? And it would have been, yes, I said this, or no, I didn't say that. And he was not giving yes or no answers. And Yannetti was like, well, I'm asking you yes or no questions. I only need you to answer yes or no. And Auntie Bev was like, no instructions. Auntie Bev, he can't tell him, man, I'm asking you a yes or no question. I just need you to answer yes or no. Because I can't give you free reign to be, giving paragraphs of your recollection. I'm asking you a very direct question of yes or no. I just need you to answer yes or no. So she did get a side eye, because what? You should have told him that in the first place. Yannetti should not have had to tell that man, just answer yes or no. You not confirming that to him is a problem. Work on that. So the main thing that they wanted the paramedic to clear up was at the grand jury, he stated that, Karen asked about how, would somebody be okay in general? She's saying, but, would somebody be okay if they were outside in the cold for like just a long period of time? And the way that I got it, it was kind of like it was coming across like she was implying that she knew how long he had been out there, that he should be gone to glory because he's been out there this long. It kind of gave that energy to me, and he was trying to, and Yannetti was trying to clear it up, that she was asking for clarity on, will he be okay? I need him to be okay. I'm having like a mental moment here, and I need like some assurance that he's going to be okay. And he was finally able to get that out of him, and he was like, well, yeah, we were just giving her stories of scenarios to try and make sure, that we were giving her some hope, something to hold on to, because she kept asking a lot of questions. Right, because she was concerned. And the pushback is very weird. These are people that should not have too much into these questions and into this case in general, and they're spending a lot of time giving pushback on things that should just be, did you say this? Yes. Did you see this? Yes. Like, it should be, we should not be questioning people longer than the actual interaction was that we're questioning them about. Like, the amount of time that they actually spent with Karen is taking more time to give their testimony on the stand than that actual time. Wrap it up. So, of course, Brandon did come back and do redirect, and it was just trying to clean up what was messed up, honestly. It wasn't too relevant, so they let him go. They did not do a recross on him, and he was done. So they are going to continuously be doing these random intermissions with these clips, apparently, because they did multiple clips today. So the clip 5, they did a discussion about it yesterday because Bev kind of was like, what's going on with these clips? And she wanted to review the clips before they played them yesterday. So they did play 2 clips yesterday, and one of them she said she'll decide about it today. So she did decide that they could play the clip today, even though we knew she was going to let them play the clip. She tried to get them the dramatics unnecessarily. So they played the clip. The reason that she didn't let them play that clip yesterday is because it was a clip talking about Peggy, and she said that didn't happen. That's why they played that clip today instead of yesterday, so these people could kind of forget that she said that didn't happen. But in the clip, Karen is kind of making fun of something that she says that Peggy did, which was, it looks like he got hit by a car. Like, she's trying to imply very early on that it looked like he got hit by a car. But Peggy was like, I didn't say that. So that's why they played the clip today instead of yesterday, so that those jury members could forget that woman said, I didn't say that. We're watching, y'all. So witness 6 and 7 were just 2 of the ladies that worked at the bars that they went to that night, and they just came in to, verify that the video footage that was provided from their bars was accurate video footage, and that was it. There was no cross-examination. This is what I do. This is what my relationship is to such and such, and then they were off on their way. So they were actually bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. So the eighth witness on the stand was Michael Cameron, and he is a friend of John. He was a friend of Karen, but he was, of course, a friend through association of their relationship. So he was a friend associate to Karen and an actual friend to John. Like, they were really good friends. So before they went to the bar that night, Michael came over to John's house, and he had his daughter with him, who is really close to John's niece, and they had like a little celebration at the house because of some milestones going on with the girls, and then they went out to have drinks. While they were at the bar, he did get a notification about his son, so he left to go and take care of his son and get his daughter and spend some time with his kids, dealing with what he needed to deal with. And then later on, when they were trying to kind of find out what was going on with John, he and his daughter went back to John's house and ended up taking Kaylee with them back to his house, and he let them hang out there for a little bit. He knew what was kind of going on, but he didn't know in full detail. But Paul gave him a call and said, hey, can you bring her back home? And they were kind of asking, well, did she know what was going on? And he was like, I could tell she kind of had a sense because she did not want to go back to the house, but I did not tell her what was going on. I just took her back to the house so that they could do so. But she was very aware, it seemed, because he said she kept making statements like she didn't want to go back home. So he knew that she kind of knew something bad had happened, and it was, going to be that he was gone. But he did not tell her. He didn't try to go down that line of conversation with her. He respected the family's, goal of getting that information to her themselves so they can deal with her emotions and process of that. He kind of teared up on the stand. He definitely seemed like he really cared about John. He really cared about Kaylee. So he really seemed like this actual situation really affected him in the long run, which gave very genuine, honest on the stand. I really appreciated his tone on the stand today. So on cross-examination, they really wanted to kind of hone in on the relationship between Karen and John. And, you've seen their relationship throughout time. You've hung out with her, several different times without him. You've seen her with the kids. You've let the kids go, with them on vacations. Like, you've seen her interactions as a person in general, her interactions with John, her interactions with the kids, her interactions with your kids. So you have a valid, say in the behavior you've seen over time. So he was like, yeah, I definitely have. So he did mention that, well, they did, pull out questions to have him kind of mention that, how much he cared about Karen, because when they were leaving out, he asked him to move his vehicle so that when she got there, she could easily pull into the garage. And they had kind of mentioned a kind of conversation-ish where he was upset that she had a plumber come to fix her sink at her house instead of allowing him to do it or having somebody come over to do it. He was quite upset about that. So he was kind of like, that he felt like he was supposed to take care of it because he's the man. So he kind of went over that a little bit because they wanted to express that they were still, in this relationship. It did have its ups and downs, but they were still in this relationship, unfortunately, when he did pass away. So overall, I do think his testimony, honestly, was a win for both sides. I do think it helped the Commonwealth in their case, and then I do think it helped the defense in their case. So he was a win-win across the board. He didn't do any, losing for either side. He was definitely a solid win, I would say, for both sides. So witness 9 on the stand was a recall of Nicholas Garino, who was there yesterday. They should have just had him come one time. I don't know why they had that man come 2 days in a row. But he came back today to go more in depth into the text messages and phone calls of the records. And he specifically went over Karen and John's text messages and phone calls just the last day before John ended up passing away. And the main thing, the kind of theme of their conversation, their communication that day, was that they were fighting all day long. It was very back and forth all day. She would call, he wouldn't answer. He would send certain calls to voicemail and reject them. And that was the whole gist of reading the messages. He, of course, did read them. I'm not reading the messages. But he just went over their tone of back and forth, the little ping pong thing they were doing all day long, all the way down to those, last little bits before he actually, you know, got out of the vehicle. They just went over that. There was no cross-examination whatsoever, and they were done with him. And then they started back with these intermission clips again. So they played 3 clips this time. The first clip was her talking about the drinks that she had that night. And she stated that the vodka tonics were terrible, they were watered down, and so she said John was like, we'll just get a shot and put it in the drink. So she's like, that's what I did, and I did not have 9 drinks. I was ordering a shot of vodka because the actual drink that I ordered that should have had some vodka in it did not have any in it, so I have to put my own vodka in it. So she's like, it made it seem like I was ordering a bunch of drinks, but I was not, because I was just putting something in a drink to actually feel like I'm drinking. She's like, so I was only buzzed. I was not, you know, wasted. I was only buzzed because I had to get I had to get the backup. That was the point of the drink. So that's all she was playing in the first clip. In the second clip, she was just talking about how she was not sure if anything could have possibly happened because, like, maybe she didn't hear something because she always has her music on. That's just how she's always, you know, driven. When she started driving when she was 16, she always had her music extremely loud in the car. Like, even when she got back in the car to leave to go look for him in the morning, the music was still on loud. She's like, that's just normally how I'm in the car. I got my music going. That's just my vibe. That's what she was saying in that second clip. On the third clip, she was talking about how she was driving that morning because there's that video footage of her going back home or going back to his house after she dropped him off. And she's just talking about how she knew she was driving, you know, pretty safe because she was taught very young by her dad that, you know, when you're going through lights or stop signs and things of that sort, to make sure that you have your foot on the brake. So she was tapping a couple of times, and she said that was normal. Like, that's how he taught me how to drive. So I just always did that. So I knew I was aware and alert enough to be driving safe, that I'm still doing the habits that my dad taught me when I'm driving. So she's like, I was driving safe. I wasn't out there being reckless because I'm still doing, like, the stuff that's embedded into me that comes second nature. Dad told me to do this, I'm doing what Dad told me to do. So she's like, I know I was driving safe because I would have known if I hit that man. Like, that's pretty much her point. I would have known if I hit him because I was still driving safe. Even though I had a few drinks, I still know how to be on the road. So after they played the clips, they did a quick sidebar and said, oh, we're done for the day because the Commonwealth did not have any additional witnesses lined up for today. So they ended early because they didn't have their witnesses lined up. It's day 3. Why you don't have everybody lined up ready to go? Come on. And she's like, oh, well, we're still on track. No, we are not on track. Y'all have gotten y'all got a long way to go. Because we haven't even got to the people that we know are going to be on the stand for days. So no, y'all are not still on track. They should have had their witnesses ready to go. That's it. It ain't nothing else to say about that. Them witnesses should have been ready to go, Auntie Bev.